Breast cancer is probably one of the most common types of cancer in women. It is the leading cause of death in women between the age of 40 and 59. And there are probably going to be 211,000 plus women diagnosed with breast cancer this year, and out of that, 40,000 of them are going to die. Another statistic you might not know: there are going to be 1,619 men diagnosed with breast cancer this year, and out of that, 490 of them are going to die. Men get breast cancer, and that you may not have thought of. It can happen to anybody. It happens for various reasons. Hello? It happens for various reasons. Are you just coming to join us? Hi, I'm Nikki.
I'm Jessica.
Hi, nice to see you all. I think it's fantastic that you're here. I can't believe that you have both men and women here for this, so this is really commendable. It is not a death sentence to be diagnosed with breast cancer or any other kind of cancer. There are treatments and processes now that have made it so much easier. Things that you've seen on TV where people are going through chemo and they're, can barely pull their head up off the pillow. That's just not the way it is anymore. It's like June said, you can actually have treatments and go back to work. During the time that I was in treatment, I didn't miss any work here at Pace. I continued to work. And in my situation, I had a very freaky accident. I was walking with my husband and my big dog in Central Park. I live up on the Upper West Side. We were crossing on 6 Inner Road, and there were lots of horse carts and bicycles and people jogging and everything. And this guy on a bike was just racing as fast as he could. And I froze. I just saw him coming straight at me, and he hit me. And I flew on my head and had this big lump like that. I mean, I swear, I saw lightning. And the ambulance came, and they carted me off to the hospital. And until then, I'm not the kind of person that ever went to the doctor, ever. I mean, I've always been healthy. I've been a dancer my whole life. I've been, I exercise. I've been thin. I have never, ever had, like excessive drinking or smoking or anything like that. I lead a healthy diet. No reason to be worried about any of this. I hadn't gone to a doctor. I had had no exams. I had no checkups of any kind. And, I'm like a mature person, right? So when I fell on my head, this was in 2004, I got this great wake-up call. And I didn't have a concussion, but they said, you really ought to go get a checkup and go see your doctor. And I said, well, I have to find a doctor now. Part of the reason I came to Pace to work was because there's wonderful health insurance here. And I had been in theater. I had not had health insurance. I worked very, work as you can, just, do a little catering, teach in the schools. I did musical theater for children for 5 years around the boroughs. So I thought, well, I have to go to Pace because here's a great opportunity. I can get health insurance. I never used my health insurance until that day. And when I found a doctor on the Upper West Side, she happened to be an oncologist, which is nothing that I knew anything about. I really wasn't paying any attention to it. And she said, well, how long has it been since you had a mammogram? And I said, well, how about never? Okay, how long has it been since you had bone density? How long has it been since you had anything? I said, well, never, and I can't remember. So I had a battery of exams, and I thought everything was going to be fine. I had no symptoms, didn't think about any of that at all. Although my mother had had breast cancer, but that was like really late, and my great-grandmother actually died of it, but I didn't, that didn't register like it was going to be me, because for some reason, we all think we're special and unique, and those kinds of things aren't going to happen to us. It's not going to touch us. So when I had my mammogram, I had something called calcifications or microcalcifications, And I didn't know what that was, you know, no big deal. Well, they said, well, you should have a sonogram and we should check it out. So they did that, and they did biopsies. And I found out I had 2 different kinds of breast cancer. One in situ, which means still in the duct, and the other one was lobular, which is another kind altogether, which had invaded. And I went, you're kidding me. What do I have? Stage 2 cancer. And I said, this just can't be. But it certainly was. So then I started learning and I started dealing with it, and I think this is what really empowers you to be able to go through this process, is not being afraid, is just being very ready to proceed and do the right thing and learn. And I ended up having bilateral mastectomy, and I had reconstruction on the spot, so I looked very normal. Nobody would know, but this is completely reconstructed. So, you know, I've never shared that with people I don't know before. So when Carla asked me to come here and speak, I went, ugh, oh my God, this is really scary, you know, because you're like you're gonna tell people things about you personally that, you know, nobody in the world would know unless you admitted it. I think that not being afraid is very much a part of early detection, because early detection is the thing that you really can do. I went to 2 of my favorite websites, and something that you should just take a minute and look at if you ever want to know. One is cancer.gov, www.cancer.gov. It's a great site. It's the National Cancer Institute. Avoid WebMD, avoid anything that says .com, because they're just trying to sell you a product. If you go to .org or a .gov, you're going to get really wonderful information. And also I went to the Susan G. Komen Foundation site. How many people have ever heard of that? Susan G. Komen, she was somebody's sister who died. And so they formed this huge, like, philanthropy in her honor to raise money to be able to treat cancer, breast cancer especially. And they've done amazing, amazing work. I believe it's 25 years old, and they have races every year. They've raised consciousness incredibly for not just women, but for men. That's really key. So you should always keep your ears open. They have on that site, the Susan G. Komen site, some really good video presentations about the whole thing. If you're ever interested and you want to get a very clear picture of how to treat somebody who might have it, how to understand somebody who might have it, I think it's very helpful. The part that I like best, and the part that I thought that would be really meaningful to all of you, is what can you do? The first thing you can do is have a healthy diet, and a healthy diet's really key. You know what a healthy diet is? Anybody? Tell me something that you think is healthy to eat.
I guess not eating like fast food.
Okay, why? Because of the trans fat. Yeah. Trans fat, you know, is going to be heart damaging as well. Okay, so no trans fat, no quick food like that, no fast food. But what's healthy? What should you be eating every day?
Vegetables.
Vegetables, yeah. What else?
Fruit.
Fruit. What else?
Water. Drink water.
Drink water. Water's good. Too much water isn't good.
Chicken. Yeah.
Chicken and fish, yeah. They find there's might be some link to red meat and breast cancer. Whole grains. But how much? It's 5 to 9 servings of fruit and vegetables daily. That's a lot. But you're really thinking of making fruit and vegetables your main meal, and everything else is just a side course. So if you think of your meat and all of that as a side course, then you're one up on that. Exercising is really, really important. Why? Because exercising also keeps down your weight. And not being heavy is a good thing, because estrogen comes from fat. So that's another reason not to eat fast food and fat food, is because estrogen is produced by fat. So the use of alcohol for women, 1 glass of wine is like 2 for him. You can't drink the same as a guy. Can't do it. And there is a definitely